Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Crew Motorfest. In this video I'm going to be taking you step by step how to do all of the challenges within the Hawaii Scenic Tour playlist. Now the only ones I'm not going to include are actually the collectibles. I'm going to do them each as their own separate challenge and separate guide just because of the sheer amount of them. This one's going to cover everything from the crashing through objects to driving from one location to the other in a specific time and such. So if you are after the kind of more collectible ones, I will be doing specific guides for them, so keep your eye out on the channel for those ones. So the first challenge I'm going to touch on is Rainbow Force. You've just got to drive 20 minutes in a free drive with the Bronco. Again, self-explanatory. The next one we're actually going to cover is the Rainbow Hedge Hopping. You have to do 2 minutes of low altitude in free drive using the F4U Corsair. As you can see, all you'll need to do is just be in free roam mode and ensure that you're flying at a low altitude. It will come up at the bottom of the screen. It's super simple. Just do that for 2 minutes and you will get this challenge ticked off. Now, when I actually came to making this guide, I already had this one done, so there is a chance you may as well. Next up, Rainbow Off-Roader. Drive 1.8 miles off-road in free drive, once again using the Ford Bronco, which is the playlist reward. So ensure that you've got that unlocked, and all you'll need to do is go to any off-road location and go about for 1.8 miles, and this one will again tick itself straight off. So super simple for this one. As you can see, I got mine done in absolutely no time. As long as you're off-road, it should just automatically complete with a decent bit of payout and a decent bit of XP. Moving on, next we've got Rainbow Surfer. Spend 10 seconds in the air in the event Dukes of, I'm not even going to bother pronouncing that, using the Ford Bronco. Once again, just go over to the event. It's the one that I believe you actually use this vehicle in. Just ensure that you're kind of hitting all of the ramps and stuff, and as well you can kind of mess about and drive off the edge of these cliffs and such if you really need to, just to get that extra time. Again, it's a very passive one. As long as you're doing the event, you should get this one done realistically, no problem at all. So as you can see, that is Rainbow Surfer done and dusted as we end up on our roof in the ocean. So next up, which one are we going to go for? We are going to go for another very specific challenge using the Ford Bronco once again, which is break 100 objects in the exact same event. So just go ahead, boot the event up, and all you'll need to do is just drive through objects. Now I just find that the walls are the easiest ones. They break apart and count as a massive amount, and as you can see, I had this one done in literal seconds for 9,000 coins and 12,000 XP. Next up, Rainbow Flash. Achieve a speed of 124 miles per hour on the big bank turn in the Motorfest grounds in free drive, once again using the Bronco. So what it's talking about is on the Motorfest ground is the big banked blue turn. All you'll need to do is just spawn in that location and head towards it. Now what you want to make sure you're doing is obviously using the Bronco, but ensure that you've got a decent few amount of upgrades on it, just to ensure that you will hit that 124 miles per hour absolutely no problem at all. So I've got mine pretty much fully upgraded. We're heading straight towards the big bank blue turn, and we're just going to hit the boost, and it's going to take us to over 124 miles per hour, and we're going to get this one ticked straight off. So as soon as you go on it, there you go, Rainbow Flash done and dusted. So let's move quickly on to the next challenge. This one is going to be Rainbow Peak. Visit the top of Stairway to Heaven on a sunny day in free drive, obviously using the Bronco once again. So it's a bit of an obscure location. You're looking for Manoa Canyon. Once you get to this location, if you kind of follow the path all the way up, you'll see Stairway to Heaven. Now it's a big long path all the way up. Starts down, I believe, in kind of like one of the suburbs or city regions. The best way to do this is just head into a plane. Once you get there, just change into a vehicle. And now obviously you can see it just spawn me in my Honda, but I'm just going to switch straight over to the Ford Bronco, drive up to the top, which is this sort of radar or the Stairway to Heaven, and it's going to tick this challenge straight off. So rather quite super simple once you actually know where to look. So follow the original map guide that I gave you and you should be good. Next up, Rainbow Stroll. Drive from the Macau Caves to the Oahu Airport in less than 7 minutes. Now this one can be a bit tricky. There's no real timer. The airport, and I believe the only airport in the game, is in the bottom part of the map up towards the likes of Pearl Harbor and Ford Island. Now what you're looking for the caves is head up towards the volcano, and once you zoom in you'll see just here that you have the caves. You actually go through it in plenty of the playlists, I believe, so just ensure you're in that location and get yourself all the way to those caves. Once you're in the caves, as soon as you drive out, I believe the timer will begin to tick. you've got to complete this within 7 minutes. Once again, we're using the Ford Bronco, and I do recommend the best way to do it is kind of as the crow flies. Try and cut out as much of the map as possible. This is an off-road vehicle, so you shouldn't struggle too much. All I did was just kind of ramp off and cut out all the corners, try and stay off of the actual asphalt. This way you can sort of, you know, just head straight to your objective. As you can see, once I kind of got to the big snake icon, I just headed left and went all the way across the fields and such, and it did bring me out pretty much near the airport. So once I've gone through all of this location, that went on for literally forever, I did come into the more suburb area, just coming up towards the airport now. As you can see, it does say we're 11 miles away for some reason. I'm not quite sure why it was actually saying it was so far away, so it may be a case that your actual tracker on the map may not actually track down or down count the mileage that you're actually doing. So I went over the bridge, and then as soon as I get to the big building, which is the airport itself, it just completed the challenge for Rainbow Stroll. And again, decent amount of money and a decent amount of XP for that one. Moving on quickly to the next challenge. So let's move on to Rainbow Daredevil. Reach a speed of 124 miles per hour whilst jumping over the center in the Art of Honolulu event, using obviously the Ford Bronco. Now the way to do this is actually boot up the event, and where you're looking for is where it says vehicle at the top. Now I just went straight up to the top, went ahead and just changed the vehicle. So if you press on it, you'll be able to choose whichever vehicle you like. I obviously chose the Ford Bronco because that's the one you need. And we're actually going to mark off another challenge, Rainbow Hopper, which is spend 3 seconds in the air during this same event. So you'll just kind of see that one tick off in the background. Again, it is a very air heavy event, so you're going to be spending plenty of time up in the air, and you're going to see that Rainbow Hopper is going to mark itself off pretty much in the background if you're tracking this one. So you should be able to get this one done nice and easy. As you can see, it's just constant jumps around the city centre, and we're going to get this Rainbow Hopper challenge done and dusted. Now the actual bit you're looking for in terms of the Rainbow Daredevil challenge is this part here. Look for the ramp with a little hand on, and you'll just have to absolutely hammer it as fast as you can, and as long as you kind of get over this part at over 124 miles per hour, you should have this one ticked off in literally no time. So that is 2 challenges done within the same event. There is a few events that do feature multiple challenges. Rainbow Driver, drive for 3 minutes in first position in the Wonders event. Now this is the second event that you'll actually do within this playlist, I believe. It's essentially a big long tour. It goes on for about 7 minutes. All you'll need to do is just be in the lead of the event for 3 minutes of it. It's not straight, you can drop to second, so yeah, nice and easy that one. Rainbow Troublemaker is break 100 objects in the Wild at Heart event. Now you will need the Dodge Challenger SRT 8392 Rally Edition, so just go ahead and buy that. It's not the cheapest car in the world, but you will earn your money back from actually buying these things anyway. So you are basically going to earn all of this back just by completing the challenges and so on and so forth. So ensure that you are in that car, and all you'll need to do is boot the event up. What you're looking for here in the Wild at Heart event is just things like barriers, bits on the beach. You can get it done once again very quickly, just like we did in the Ford Bronco. As you can see, all I did was kind of look for the likes of surfboards, umbrellas, sunbeds, and just absolutely trash them until we got the challenge complete. So there we go once again. Rainbow Troublemaker now done. Now we've got Rainbow Maverick, fly through 5 checkpoints inverted at low altitude in Kingdom of Larney. Now the way to actually do this is use your extreme controls, tip yourself upside down, and it should go. Now it is quite difficult. I'd say it's one of the more difficult tasks or challenges of the bunch, but eventually you should get the hang of it. As long as you're doing it within this event, within the course here, you're pretty much good to go. Now that is that challenge done and dusted. We're going to move on to something a little bit different. Now in terms of some of these challenges, they can be rather quite difficult like the previous one, or just like this one where it's super simple. Again, using the Corsair, just fly through the motorsport grounds double loop. Now the part you're looking for on the map is just here. As you can see, it's a double loop. It's self-explanatory. Just go ahead, spawn yourself in and fly straight through both of them, and this challenge will tick off. As you can see, we're just going to go straight through the middle of both, and that is Rainbow Spiral done and dusted. Again, just ensure that you're using the Corsair. It is a reward vehicle for completing around about 75% of this playlist. Next up, we've got Rainbow Lava, fly from the motorsport ground, Motorfest ground should I say, to the top of the crater. Now what you're looking for is the top of the volcano. I'm going to fast forward through this guide, so just begin here at the Motorfest grounds. All you'll need to do is once you fly out, the timer will tick, and you're looking all the way up to the left of the map, kind of just near the top. And again, you're looking for the crater, which which is at the top of the volcano, which you'll probably have seen a lot of times throughout this game so far. So just mark it up and away you go. So I'm just going to speed through this bit. It's rather quite easy. It's a fairly straight line. Just ensure that, you know, just to get to the end of it in time, that you've got a few fair upgrades on your course there. Obviously you will have to use that as it is the required plane for this one. Now in terms of when you get to the top, that's when I recommend you actually being possibly a bit more steady overall, just as there is a high chance that the clouds will be covering it. What you need to do is just kind of follow it up as much as possible, as far as you can see, and as soon as you kind of fly over the top, as long as you've done it within that 4 minutes, this challenge should tick itself off. Rather self-explanatory, a fairly straight line in the plane. Just ensure you've got the upgrades on there, just to make sure that you've got enough speed to get yourself all the way here as fast as possible. As you can see, there's the clouds I'm talking about, but we did manage to get it ticked off as soon as we flew over the peak. Next up, we've got Rainbow Blast. Perform 3 overtakes during the Explorer Moana event, as well as Manta Rainbow. Once again, you've just got to do some airtime within the same event. So we're going to try and do a bit of a 2-for-1 in terms of the air event. There's plenty of ramps. You should get this one done in no problem at all. Once again, you've got the recommended boat, or required boat should I say. It's not recommended, you have to use it. So as soon as you hit that 3 seconds of airtime, it will tick off. Again, you can kind of do it on the waves, you can do it on the ramps, but you will get that challenge done and dusted quite easy. Now the one that's a little bit hit and miss is actually the Rainbow Blast one, which is a 3 clean overtakes. Now I'm not quite sure what it means by clean overtakes, because even when you do it, sometimes it won't mark off. Like you've seen there, I've gone completely past them and it didn't tick off for a while after, and it does seem to kind of be really hit and miss. Next up, Rainbow Caretaker. Finish the event, the wonders of Poco, without colliding with opponents. Again, you're using the Ford Bronco. Once again, this is the longer event, so it takes rather quite a while to get this done. Just ensure that you're just kind of, you know, taking your time with opponents. Only overtake when you actually need to, or when you can ensure that it's going to be clean. If you really want to, you can just hang at the back and let them get the event done and dusted, and you'll still get this one ticked off. Now, as you can see, when it comes to actually overtaking the AI, just ensure that you are really steady with them. Sometimes they will just absolutely fling themselves across the road and into the side of you. I actually had to restart for that exact reason. Now, I did end up managing to kind of risk it all to get first place, but again, I wouldn't recommend going about that way. So that's going to be it for all of the challenges. Next up, I'll be covering all of the collectible challenges within this playlist. So I'll do them all as separate guides, including statues, tikis, and all of the kind of, you know, murals and such. You will see them up on the channel over the coming days. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.